Winter in Bavaria, 1922. The snow lay thick over the fields, muffling the world in silence. On a remote farm, the Gruber family would experience a horror so profound, it would linger through generations. 6 lives were taken in one night, in a crime so meticulous, so inexplicable, that even today the murderer has never been identified. The farm, Hinterkaifeck, sits isolated even now, a place where the wind carries whispers of a dark past. Footsteps in the snow, lights flickering at night, shadows moving where no one should tread, and all leading to one terrifying truth. Some mysteries are meant to haunt. The Gruber family lived a simple, quiet life. Andreas and Cecilia Gruber, their widowed daughter Victoria, her children Josef and Cecilia, and the maid Maria, resided on the farm, tending to their daily routines of milking cows, chopping wood, and maintaining the property. Hinterkaifeck was isolated. The nearest neighbors were a 15-minute walk away. Life was hard, yet ordinary, until the shadows crept in. Isolation can breed vulnerability. The family's solitude made them invisible to the wider world, but also hyper-aware of disturbances around them. The killer, whoever they were, would exploit this, using silence, familiarity, and fear as tools. Strange occurrences began weeks before the murders. Andreas reportedly discovered footprints in the snow leading from the nearby woods to the farm, but curiously, none leading away. Objects in the house were moved, doors mysteriously unlocked, and faint sounds echoed through the empty rooms at night. Neighbors recalled Andreas mentioning that he felt watched, as though unseen eyes followed him from the trees. These small, unsettling events reveal the mind of a predator testing boundaries. The killer was patient, observing patterns, instilling unease, preparing the family psychologically for the violence to come. Fear, carefully cultivated, can be as powerful as any weapon. On the night of March 31st, 1922, the perpetrator struck. Andreas and Cecilia Gruber, Victoria, her children, and the maid Maria were all killed with a pickaxe, a tool from their own farm. Some victims were discovered in the barn, others in the house. Some evidence suggests that individuals were lured from their rooms, executed in calculated positions, each murder precise and deliberate. The snow around the farm preserved signs of intrusion, yet none of escape. Whoever committed this crime vanished completely into the night. Locals later reported eerie phenomena, faint voices, the smell of smoke from the farmhouse chimney, and lights flickering despite the absence of anyone inside. The killer may have lingered, mocking the living before disappearing entirely. Every detail points to a mind obsessed with control and psychological torment. This wasn't random violence. It was a deliberate act designed to instill terror, demonstrating dominance over both victims and those who would eventually uncover the crime. When neighbors arrived after failing to see the family for days, they discovered the bodies. Authorities launched an investigation, interviewing everyone in the area. Newspapers reported the story nationwide, describing it as one of the most horrifying crimes in recent memory. Despite their efforts, the killer left behind no clues that could lead to justice. Objects in the farmhouse had been disturbed post-mortem, adding an almost ritualistic air to the scene. The sense of unease that the family experienced before their deaths seemed to echo through the empty house, a lingering signature of the murderer's presence. Several suspects emerged over time. Disgruntled former employees, neighbors with grudges, and outsiders with unclear motives. Each had circumstantial evidence pointing their way, yet no one could be definitively tied to the crime. Conflicting statements and the remote location hindered the investigation. Behavioral analysis suggests a perpetrator with obsessive tendencies, precise planning, and a desire to instill fear. The meticulous method, using a farm tool targeting a single family, possibly remaining on the property afterward, shows an intimate understanding of human psychology and terror. Some theories even suggest the killer may have had a supernatural or ritualistic motive, though there is no evidence to prove this. Still, locals continue to whisper of shadows on the farm, strange noises, and the sense that the Gruber's killer may never truly have left, whether grounded in reality or the fearful whispers of neighbors. These shadows reveal something deeper. The terror left behind by the killer is almost tangible. Hinterkaifeck wasn't just a crime scene. It became a stage where fear itself was the weapon, and the absence of answers only amplified it. Local accounts describe a chilling sense of being watched. Footsteps echoing in empty rooms, lights flickering inexplicably, doors opening on their own. Even decades later, visitors to the site report a cold that seems to follow them, as if the farm itself remembers that fateful night, and the darkness refuses to leave. Authorities investigated every conceivable angle. Former employees with grudges, neighbors with odd behavior, wandering strangers. Letters, interviews, and public tips were all considered, yet the killer remained elusive. No evidence linked a single person conclusively to the crime, and the methods remained baffling. What kind of mind could orchestrate such violence? The killer displayed patience, meticulous planning, and an understanding of fear that borders on obsession. Every move was calculated, entering the property unnoticed, striking with precision, and disappearing without a trace. This wasn't mere brutality. It was psychological warfare, a study in dominance and terror. Some theorists suggest the possibility of ritualistic motives. Perhaps the killer saw the farm as a stage for some private, macabre purpose. Others consider that the psychological impact alone, terror, isolation, helplessness, was sufficient motivation. Whatever the truth, the unanswered questions linger like shadows across the snow. To understand Hinterkaifeck, we must examine not only the crime itself, but the minds it engaged, both the victims and the perpetrator. The story is a study in fear, control, and the enduring power of the unknown. And it is here that the psychological layers of this case become almost unbearable to contemplate. Authorities examined numerous suspects in the aftermath of the murders. Former employees with grievances, neighbors with peculiar behaviors, and even outsiders passing through the region were questioned. Each had circumstantial links, yet nothing definitive. No alibi was ever fully proven or disproven, and no evidence conclusively tied a single individual to the crime. Behavioral patterns suggest the killer was not impulsive. The methodical nature of the attack, using a pickaxe from the victim's own farm, selecting victims in a calculated order, possibly lingering afterward, indicates advanced planning and a deep understanding of fear and control. This was not random violence. This was psychological domination manifested through murder. Some neighbors recalled seeing figures lurking near the farm in the days leading up to the crime. Others claimed to hear faint voices or movements in the attic, but when they investigated, no one was there. The killer remained invisible, a ghost in plain sight, leaving behind only dread and unanswered questions. Hinterkaifeck offers a rare glimpse into the mind of a calculated, obsessive criminal. The killer displayed traits of control, anticipation, and ritualized behavior. Each act was deliberate, every step planned to instill terror. The lingering presence, whether real or imagined, shows a profound understanding of how fear affects the human mind. The idea that the killer may have remained on the property for days after the murders, moving through the farmhouse, lighting the fireplace, disturbing objects, it defies comprehension. Such behavior is not just criminal. It is psychologically torturous, leaving the victims and later investigators enveloped in a state of horror that lingers long after the act. Comparisons to other unsolved or ritualistic crimes reveal similarities. Meticulous planning, targeting of vulnerable individuals, and an almost theatrical manipulation of environment and fear. Hinterkaifeck stands as a quintessential example of a crime where the psychological impact surpasses the physical violence. Decades later, Hinterkaifeck continues to fascinate historians, criminologists, and paranormal enthusiasts alike. The farm has become a site of legend, with visitors reporting strange phenomena, unexplained noises, cold spots, fleeting shadows. Books, documentaries, and online discussions ensure that the story continues to grip the imagination of those who encounter it. The fascination with Hinterkaifeck is a study in human curiosity and fear. We are drawn to the unknown, to the unsolved, to stories that challenge our understanding of morality, safety, and human behavior. This case endures because it touches something primal. The fear that danger can exist unseen anywhere, even in what we call home. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of history's most haunting unsolved crimes. Who killed the Gruber family? Why did they choose this isolated farm? And how did they vanish without a trace? Each question lingers unanswered, like a shadow across the snow. Some mysteries are never meant to be solved. Some horrors are meant to endure. This has been Uncracked Case. Beneath every thought, fade to black. Ominous ambient sound lingers. Credits roll.